Welcome, 8th graders. Have you ever actually stopped to think about what you are truly made of? And, I don't just mean the big stuff, like your bones and muscles. I'm talking about the absolute tiniest building blocks that make you, well, you. Today, we're stepping right into the microscopic world to unlock the hidden blueprint of life in this explainer.
To frame our entire lesson today, our source material actually opens up with a scripture from Hebrews. It highlights a really fascinating concept. The massive, incredibly complex universe we see all around us is entirely built from foundational elements we absolutely cannot see with our naked eyes. Basically, everything big is made of something incredibly small. Here is our agenda for today. We'll be covering the invisible world, mastering the microscope, inside the cell lab, and finally, education, morality, and peace. Section 1. The invisible world, where life begins. So we obviously can't see them just by looking, but cells are the foundation of literally all living things. Think about looking at a massive brick mansion. From far away, right, it just looks like one solid building. But when you walk right up to it, you realize it's actually made of thousands of individual, carefully placed bricks. Well, cells are the bricks of life. Our source material notes that exploring this hidden design really deepens our understanding of how life works at the absolute tiniest level, which the curriculum links to a profound sense of intelligent design in creation. Section 2. Mastering the microscope, your tool for discovery. Okay, think of the microscope as your personal spaceship into the microscopic universe. Here's how you pilot it. First, you've got to select the low-power objective lens. That gives you the widest view of your sample. Second, adjust the diaphragm for light. If you have too much light, it completely washes the sample out. Too little, and you're just left in the dark. Third, use your focus knobs to bring that invisible world into sharp focus. And then, only then, do you switch to the high-power objective lens to zoom all the way in.
Now here's a catch. A lot of cells, especially animal cells, are mostly clear. Under bright light, they're practically invisible. To fix this, scientists use a little trick called iodine stain. It's super simple. A golden brown dye is added to the sample, and different parts of the cell absorb that dye at totally different rates. This makes all those hidden, transparent structures suddenly pop out clearly. It's essentially like turning up the contrast dial on your TV.
Section 3. Inside the cell lab, plant versus animal cells.
When you get into the lab, you're going to look at a tiny peel of onion skin. Because onions are plants, you're going to see these sturdy, rectangular cells stacked neatly together. And that's thanks to a really rigid outer layer called a cell wall. On the flip side, animal cells, like a swab from the inside of your own cheek, look completely different. They're rounder, much more irregular because they don't have that cell wall. They just rely on a thin, flexible cell membrane. But check out what they both share. A highly visible nucleus, which is that little dark dot acting as the cell's control center.
Now, if you were to look at a green leaf under the microscope, instead of an onion peel, you'd spot something extra special. You'll see these amazing little green dots scattered all throughout the cell. These are called chloroplasts. They are literal microscopic solar panels doing the heavy lifting of photosynthesis. They literally catch energy from the sun and use it to make food for the plant, which, by the way, is one of the single most important biological processes on Earth.
So as you work through this lab, remember, you aren't just looking, you are actively observing. You need to identify whether you're looking at a plant or animal cell. Find that rigid cell wall or that flexible membrane. Pinpoint the nucleus, and honestly, most importantly, sketch what you see and label the organelles. Actually drawing it out forces your brain to truly process and remember these complex structures.
All right, let's hit pause for a second and test our knowledge. Number 1, why exactly do scientists use microscopes? Well, as we just covered, they're absolute essential tools to see the foundational building blocks of life that are otherwise totally hidden from us. Number 2, name 2 things you can see in a plant cell. Think back to that onion skin. You might spot the sturdy cell wall, the central nucleus, or even the jelly-like cytoplasm.
Moving right along, question 3. What stain makes organelles easier to see? That would be our contrast booster, the iodine stain. Question 4. How do animal and plant cells look different? Remember, plant cells are rectangular and rigid because of those cell walls, while animal cells are rounder, flexible, and sort of irregular because they only have a membrane.
Section 4. Education, Morality, and Peace. The heroesmartacademy philosophy.
So our source material makes an interesting pivot here, transitioning from biology over to philosophy. It argues that education without morality is missing a pretty crucial element. The curriculum asks a tough question. What's the point of mastering the microscope if you just use that intelligence to make choices that hurt yourself and others? True education, as framed by this source, intertwines scientific knowledge with a moral compass to create positive, constructive outcomes in the world.
The source concludes its thoughts by connecting this scientific knowledge back to spiritual truth, citing Romans chapter 8. The curriculum suggests that recognizing the perfect, microscopic order of a single cell is meant to inspire awe. By aligning your mind with this spiritual foundation, the text argues you can actually experience true peace of mind.
You know, at the end of the day, science is all about discovery, and discovery is fueled by wonder. So I want to leave you with a final question to really ponder today. What part of this incredibly complex microscopic universe completely surprised you? Was it the crazy fact that you are made of trillions of tiny cells? The perfect brick-like structure of an onion? Or maybe how a single drop of iodine can reveal a totally hidden universe? Keep asking questions, keep observing, and never lose your sense of wonder about the invisible foundations of life.